Ever since I had the R32 remapped a few years ago, I've been told by a number of people that the figure that it produced actually might be a little bit optimistic. So I've come to get it checked again at another dyno alongside two 16 valves here for reference. We're at a local rolling road, CTG Performance. Let's get the first Mk2, Alex's 1.8 16 valve on the dyno. Mostly original with only a small number of performance mods. Let's see what it does. Alex, what do you think of that?
Not bad.
Yeah?
I can get a bit more out of it.
So it's 139 stock. What was that?
111 wheel horsepower.
111 wheel. Okay. What does that convert to if it's 111 at the wheels?
It's nearly 149.
Is it? That's impressive. Got one more run. Dan at CTG seemed very impressed. You're happy, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
That seems just about right, I think.
That's not even tuned yet.
That is good, isn't it?
That's not bad. Needs a tune, but happy with that. Very happy with that.
But basically a 16 valve with some, what, skimmed head
No,
and...
it's not even that. It's
No?
just, I think it might be lightly ported. Other than that, it's stock bar the air filter, and it's got the 52mm inlet manifold on it. So I don't remember if that was standard or not.
That's good.
Very happy.
151 horsepower. Very nice. Right, next.
So, we've had a good result for the KR. That's classed in my throttle blooded ABS makes.
What do you think it should make?
200 and something, 204 maybe,
Okay,
with a load of torque. Hopefully 170 something pound foot.
okay. Let's see. I'm excited. This is going to be loud. That was so loud. That sounded epic. What do you think? It sounds good, doesn't it? You gotta love the noise. Count two. not bad at all. You said about 203.
I said a 204, I think.
Did you? 205 basically. And 233 Newton meters. That is pretty cool. That's a really smooth curve as well.
Well, once it goes on cam anyway.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. Well done.
With my very own 3.2 VR6 still fresh from a head rebuild and being dynoed elsewhere prior to the works, we were interested to see how this car would perform on the rolling road. Previously, it ran 285 brake horsepower at stealth racing.
So I'm a little bit nervous about this because last time I had my car on a dyno, the clutch decided to self-destruct and I had to drive all the way home by rev matching. So hopefully that won't happen this time. Last time it pushed out 285 brake horsepower, allegedly, and 262 pound-foot of torque. So let's see what it does here. What do you reckon it's going to make?
258.
258?
258.
Oh, I'm offended.
I've got to go a little bit lower.
I'm going to say 263, I think. I don't know about the torque, but the power.
263.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you reckon?
What I'm guessing?
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna make.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you say?
Well, it was 250 stock.
Yeah.
Another dyno it weighed 285.
Yeah.
I think 263.
Okay. And what other dyno was?
Stealth.
Stealth
racing.
The old school tuners.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 264.
264.
I've gone one more.
Oh.
268.
268. Okay.
268.
I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say 275.
Wow.
Come on, baby. And one of the things that will be quite interesting on this is that when I had it mapped, it was pre all the work that I've done on this car. You might have seen in previous videos. So I've had the head skimmed and all the valves lapped and things like that. So in theory, it might make an extra 1 brake horsepower with all that extra compression. So yeah, let's see. That was really good. I loved it. If nothing else, it sounds good. Oh, there we go. Ah, 265. So 265 when I was, well, we've had it done before and it was 285. So is that due to the work that we've had done on it, or is that something else?
That's what it actually makes.
That's what it actually makes, rather than the optimism of another dyno. There's only one way to find out, isn't there?
With a 20 brake horsepower delta between the previous stealth racing result and the result from CTG, let's revisit stealth racing to see if there's something wrong with the 3.2.
We are back at stealth racing after all this time. I've been here before, but this time I've had a lot of work done to the engine, so it'll be interesting to see now what power we make compared to last time.
Stealth racing is often the go-to place for owners of VR6s. Could the numbers be so different compared to CTG? First on the rollers is Ben's ABF.
You got a guess?
210 maybe?
210.
205.
Okay. I'm going to go with 212. I can't see it from here. That's great. The flame kicking out the back. That was awesome. Does sound good.
It's angry machine.
It is. Like a crazy wasp nest. I can see a graph, but I can't see the power.
227 horsepower at the flywheel. However, the 172 at the wheels isn't far off the 169 we got at CTG. Let's get the 3.2 on.
hoping it's about 285. That's what it was last time. I've had the head done since then, so hopefully it's about that. Maybe a little bit more, that'd be nice.
Complete, now to compare results with our previous visit from back in 2018. With years between the runs, the environmental conditions, air temp and pressure are almost the same, which makes for an accurate comparison. But look at the torque! Witness those gains! From off-idle right up to 6,000 RPM, hashtag area under the curve. We did lose 0.8 of a peak brake horsepower. Let's take a look at the cam offset readings on VCDS. We can see that with the fresh timing chain kit, a 5-degree intake cam advance is present. This could explain the gains up to 6,000 RPM. Nice. A rare sight to see the Golf Mk2 outnumbered by Corrados as our time at Stealth comes to an end. We've seen the differences between the two dyno figures, so let's add a third rolling road to the mix. However, with all good plans, our 3.2 decided to go on strike for a few weeks.
We are here today at Dyno Developments in Stevenage, and we've brought just the one Golf today because someone's is still broken. It runs now, you know, but we've got to tidy some wires up. But today we can have a more in-depth focus on my Mk2. Let's hear from Mike about the type of rolling road we're going to be using.
Hello guys, welcome to Dyno Developments. So we've got a rather nice Mk2 Golf here today. The car's going to be tested shortly. There's quite a few modifications on this car. It's got throttle bodies and I assume the headwork and cams. So we're going to test the car, we're going to look at the air-fuel ratio, we're going to load it up, we're going to see how the car performs under load, and we'll see what power it makes. So this dyno is about 10 years old. This is our development machine. So we actually develop dynos here. The machine is surface mounted, so it doesn't have to go in the ground, which is quite a useful thing. A lot of landlords don't really like you digging a hole to put a dyno in, and it actually gives you quite good access to the vehicle. So you're not laying on the floor to actually strap it down, you can just sort of bend over and strap it. The rollers on the dyno are actually hollow metal tubes, so there's very, very little mass in the actual dyno itself. The mass creates something called inertia, and inertia is not your friend when you're testing a car. If you have a low powered car, that inertia is often too much for the car to overcome, and the acceleration rate is too slow. And if you have a high powered car, the inertia is usually not enough and the car is not loaded fully. If you have an inertia dyno, you cannot do tuning or testing properly. You can't actually load the car steady state and use it for mapping. So an inertia dyno, I'm afraid there's lots of them out there, is a useless tool when it comes to tuning. The surface of the roller has been machined with a broaching process. There's a tool comes backwards and forwards and it work hardens the surface of the roller, and that coupled up with something on the rear called the traction arm allows us to get enormous grip. We've had on a two-wheel drive dyno 1,443 horsepower on a two-wheel drive car. That was a Toyota Supra Dragster. People regularly run 1,000 horsepower two-wheel drive without a drama at all. So the machine uses a retarder, which is an electromagnetic brake. They're made by a company called Cloth in Germany. They are very high quality and very, very powerful. They are, again, low inertia, so that it doesn't add to the mass of the dyno. And they're not a new design, there's lots of new retarders, but they work. I say it's a bit like a big block Chevy engine, it just is always there, always got power. It's a bit overkill for your average car, but dynos get hot, and as they get hot they lose their efficiency. So it's got a massive headroom, you know, you can just keep running and running and running and you don't overheat the dyno. If you have a weak retarder, the acceleration rate starts to change as the car gets hotter, as the dyno gets hotter, and that creates inconsistencies. Anyway, over on the side we've got the cabinet with all the software, the electronics. We can measure boost, we can measure air-fuel ratio, we can measure torque, time, tractive effort. There's many different things it records, and it actually produces power graphs, and you can edit the data and export it and all that kind of thing. Alright, so we're going to test the car.
Sounding and driving as usual, the figures achieved here are a lot lower. But we did notice how the ramp rate changes or briefly pauses a few times per dyno run.
Is this a flywheel back?
So with this, that is flywheel power, yeah.
What's it do?
The wheels is about 155 to 158 is what it's making at the moment. So it is going flat really from £5 grand. Now although the car if we look at the torque here, you can see it's reasonably fat and wide, which is good. It doesn't peak and fall away. But I suspect the cylinder head.
The throttles are quite small.
Are they?
They're like 42 mil. So they go a bit supersonic. So they go. You can hear past the cam coming on. You then go to a kind of a fast gas noise.
Well, if we have a quick look at the first run. So the air fuel ratio here is bombing. All right.
That's odd. That is odd.
So the air fuel ratio really should be up here. Okay. So the car is proper turbocharger rich at the moment.
It's like it's got a whole point AFR offset on it somehow.
You know, a lot of turbocharged cars can run leaner than that.
This suggests to me that sensor is aged.
While the guys are having a look at the modified ABF engine, I'm in the car adjusting the fuel map based on the information from the Rolling Road's own O2 sensor.
Save that. Is that ready? Yeah.
One last go.
Yeah, it makes a nice pop at the back there. So that was my car, the ABF Mk2 at Dyno Developments on their Rolling Road. Now we did the usual 3 power runs, and at the end of those runs we did a little bit of analysis with Mike there, and we found a discrepancy between the O2 sensor that's been in my car for quite a long time, since 2010, and the one that they use on their Rolling Road, which is probably replaced frequently. That for those runs you put up the tailpipe. But I like to have stock, so bought many years ago replacement AEM UEGO wideband O2 sensor. So something for me to change at some point. But that then did lead us to do some investigative tweaking, and you saw me adjusting on the laptop, changing the fuel a little bit, leaning it out, and we also tried swinging the ignition a bit advanced, a bit retarded, and ultimately it made no improvement versus what it was already on it, which I kind of knew anyway because I've had this for so long, and every step of the way, whether it was changing the cams, changing the exhaust, it's always been back to a Rolling Road. Sometimes it's me mapping it, sometimes it's someone else. More lately it's just been me doing it. But doing it the correct way, with listening device, with looking at the torque output, making small changes. Yeah, so we knew it was pretty much good anyway. But that means that the figure we got, which was only 185 horsepower, something along there, is a bit of an outlier. It's massively lower than other ones, and Dyno Dynamics that I think Mike was involved with before, this has been in the lower state of tune, has been on Dyno Dynamics rollers before, that with a lesser setup, so maybe standard cams, smaller exhaust, no throttle bodies. It's made about that same figure anyway, so it's a bit of an outlier. Read into it what you will.
Yeah, why is it made 41 horsepower less than what it made at Stealth?
That's a big difference.
That is a big difference.
That's a big difference. That's why we're doing this. So we've done the dyno runs, and you get to make up your mind.
Now, interestingly, Alex, who's the 16 valve at the beginning of our video, he has done numerous dyno runs with that car. Now, back in 2017, I believe it was, he had his car dynoed at another dyno, and it managed to achieve 151 brake horsepower. Then 2019, ran at Stealth, and it achieved 170 something brake horsepower, and then back at CTG, in the video you saw, went 150 again.
So yeah,
It's miraculous.
it is miraculous power gains, isn't it?
So Stealth, the work they do with classic Volkswagen, especially VR6, is renowned, really good.
Yeah.
For some reason, that roller always seems to overread.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen, unless it's in error, where sometimes you get these dynos that are at a show, and for some reason maybe they don't spend as long setting up, making sure that 4,000 RPM on your car is 4,000 RPM on their dyno. So if they get that wrong, then it's either going to be really bad under or really bad over. So apart from that, the Stealth dyno seems to always be higher.
It does.
It seems to overread, and it has done for years. It's kind of.
So when I believed that I had 285 brake horsepower on my car for all of this time, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, to see whether that 285 is actually a true figure. Now, interestingly, what it does show is that when we then took my car back to Stealth, so I had it dynoed at Stealth in 2018, 2019, can't remember which it was.
Time goes fast.
It does, yeah. And it made 285 horsepower on their rollers. Take it back after having had the head all redone with a nice healthy engine, and it made 285 brake horsepower, give or take. Now, what was interesting is it did show that the engine is now healthier because all the torque has gone up a little bit, and it's in a more usable power band, basically, isn't it? You've got more area under the curve.
And was it 11 newton meters more everywhere, pretty much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a big deal.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
That's like ideal reading.
So obviously Stealth, according to their rollers, says that my car has 285 brake horsepower, where CTG showed that mine had 265. Obviously didn't get a reading at Dyno Developments because my car wasn't working. So what is the benefit, or maybe the downside, of having rollers that show 285 brake horsepower when it might actually realistically be 265 watts? Is that a big deal? I don't know.
Or one that says that your 16 valve makes 200 instead of 170.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a quote me happy thing. If you feel happy that your car now makes that figure and that's all you needed to just go, now I can take pressure's off, I've got the figure, Well, if that makes you happy, great, but you're kind of kidding yourself.
Yeah.
You could, if you're going to sell it saying it makes this, quote where it's from, so people can do their research maybe.
That's a good point.
Otherwise they might go and dyno it somewhere else and go, hey, why, you sold it saying it was 300 horsepower and it's only 260, what happened? It could be that. I don't know, maybe you're building it to some race series. Some of them do have a specific dyno where they say for this series you all have to go and measure, but they might not, and maybe you think, right, that's it, I've got to the class limits 170, I don't know, and you're not actually at 170. So maybe there's more things you can do. It's hard to say.
That's good, yeah.
But
I suppose in my case, beforehand, ignorance was bliss. I was very blissfully unaware that my car maybe wasn't making 285 brake horsepower. So I was
proudly claiming it.
I was bragging, not bragging, but I was very proud of the fact that the R32 was 285 horsepower with nothing more than a cone filter and a track slag exhaust.
So you're breeding disappointment, sowing the seeds, telling everyone to look at my car. It sounds lovely, loads of torque, and it makes 285, and all it is completely standard with a track slag exhaust and a remap. A dyno is a tuning tool. You take your car you've just built that's on a base map or running really bad, let's say we just put a turbo on this and I didn't have any way of tuning it maybe, and we take it to the dyno on a no boost pressure, maybe even driving it NA with the boost piping off. Look at people do that. If it's not math based, you could probably drive it with just the throttle position sensor. When the turbo hanging, they do nothing if you wanted to. So then you get to your dyno, depending on what state it is, and if it's in a state you could run it, you get your base figure. That sounds bad. And then you make your tune and you see the difference. Just like you'd take your normal road car and get a flash remap and then see as long as you get the before and after on the same machine, you can tell at what percentage is improved. That's what it should be for. It should be a tuning or a diagnostic tool in some cases.
Yeah.
That's it.
So there you go. That is the conclusion to this video.
Yes.
The only other conclusion to this video is the fact that we now all know that an R32 sounds better than maybe F-150 bodies.
Subjective. It's louder.
It's
louder.
Some may say that if it lost 12 valves as well, it might sound even
12
better.
valve. Yeah. For me, it's a 12 valve. I don't like the rasp. So.
Yeah. So that's been a bit of an adventure. I've certainly learned a hell of a lot. I hope you have too.
For me, it was just confirming the things I expected. So that your car makes around 260 something horsepower, which the butt dyno doesn't lie.
That's true. That is true. So it feels like 285.
Well, if nothing else, this video had some nice engine noises in. So
It did.
on that note,
I think it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. Southeast Mark C Golfs.